Let's talk a little bit about maintenance. As a co-pilot or a pilot, have you experienced any maintenance issues with the Challenger 300?
Yeah, I mean, I have. Over the last 18 years, you will find things that,
I'm sure, yeah.
will need replacement or repair. As far as anything that comes outstanding from one type of aircraft to another one, not really. It's just your standard components that sometimes, maybe you have a display in your cockpit that it goes bad. That's an electronic display, easy to fix and replace, or easy to replace, I should say. Fixing, I don't know how easy that be, but we would get a replacement part, and that comes in, and basically a plug and play, for instance. I remember one time in Cologne, Germany, and we were coming in, and that's a different trip from that one that I was telling you about.
Okay.
We were flying in from Munich over to Cologne. That was our destination, and we had a system fail on us. It was a left hydraulic system, which that controls the nose wheel steering, right? The airplane is very redundant. You can fly, if there's a system that fails, there's another system that backs it up. It's really, really redundant. And all airplanes have to have that level of redundancy if they wanted to be certified by Part 25 of the FARs. But I remember that landing over there in Cologne, and this was in 2007, 2008, and the airplane was pretty much new to the world, right?
Yeah.
Landing in Cologne with no nose wheel steering, that was the first time I was going to try to steer the airplane off after landing off the runway. And I was thinking maybe just get a tow truck and, get towed over to the hangar or to the FBO. But it's a little compelling to do that when you're talking about a big airport where there's a lot of cargo planes coming in, a lot of airline service coming in. And I requested the longest runway, so I couldn't really shut down the runway for a very long period of time. However, I did find that steering the aircraft without a nose wheel steering, just steering with asymmetrical brakes, was really, really easy, quite easy to tell you the truth. So I think that's the most outstanding maintenance event that I've ever had, where it was a challenge for me, and it became a non-event.
That's good. What insights would you share with a pilot or a potential owner considering this type of aircraft?
If they're coming from no experience, meaning that they didn't, I'm talking about an owner. If they're coming with no experience, no ownership experience in the past, and they do select the 300, that will be an extremely satisfying choice. It really will. Sometimes you'll find owners that they will start with a smaller airplane, and there's really good airplanes as well that are small and mid-size and super mids. But if they do elect to come into a 300, it's the right size. It's the perfect size for a family, perfect size for meetings as well. And it's just a great tool to have that works every time. As far as the pilot side of the house, the pilot is going to find that this airplane is extremely easy. They will be most likely able to perform to FAA standards within the first 2 simulator sessions of their training.
Okay. And just kind of to wrap things up, I have a couple more personal questions. Can you tell us, you've shared a couple different stories now, what's the craziest story you have about aviation or flying?
So I'm going to rewind the tape down to when I was working in Mexico, this family that I worked with down there. I actually still talk to them. I've become friends with them. And I was flying this Learjet 31 over there, and they had the hangar of this aircraft was in a ranch, because it was a cattle ranch. And they had this very short runway. That's all I remember. It was just a very short runway, and the runway was in the side of a mountain. Now, this part of the world, there was no wind. It was hard to see any wind, right? But it was a runway that you can only land one way and take off the opposite way. Okay. The shape of the runway, which has been closed by authorities, I am told, the shape of the runway was, it had a difference of elevations between one threshold to the other, one end to the other, of close to 120 feet difference. That's quite a challenge right there, because I don't know if you ever saw a movie called Air America. I think most pilots have, but it's like landing uphill and then taking off down, right?
Wow.
And you see that in some airports around the world with very light aircraft. That was the very first time I saw that on a jet. And I thought, then again, I didn't have much experience. So I'm walking in, and to me, that's normal, I guess. These folks made it work, and that's what we did. But then later, talking to, colleagues and telling them about the experience, I found that, that was pretty unique. It wasn't, you wouldn't see that normally.
Wow. Yeah.
So I think that's the craziest part of my aviation.
That's a good one.
Operating in that runway.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Jorge.
My pleasure.
We are always looking to hear from other insiders. So if you own, pilot, manage, finance, maintain, or insure aircraft, we want to hear your insights. Visit wepush10.com/insider insights to submit what you love or hate about any aircraft.